You're fire. Welcome back to the Break It Down Inside Network, man. It is currently 1:17 a.m. in the morning. And on this day, man, we're going to talk about, you guessed it, why you're unhappy. And I have 5 reasons why you may be unhappy. And here's my 5. 1, you're complaining too much. Complaining about things that you currently cannot fix, or you could fix and you just haven't chose to fix them. 2, being underappreciated. I know a little bit about being underappreciated. We'll get into that one too. 3, worrying too much. You worrying, your mind is running because you have set this big mountain of things to do and you want to get things done in a certain time, and you're worrying if they're going to get done in a certain time. Been there, done that. 4, loss. A family member, a friend, associate. Loss is always a reason why a lot of us are unhappy. And then the biggest one of all, envy, jealousy, whatever you want to call it. Watching what everybody else got going and getting depressed because you don't have the same thing that they've got going. Although your story is actually different, right? So we can go back through these. Remember, I was talking about complaining. I was talking about being underappreciated. I was talking about worrying too much. And I was talking about loss. And the big one, like I said, is envy and jealousy. And we'll go and break down each of these down to a T, just not too much, just enough to get it rolling. And on Fridays, you can catch us talking about a few of these topics live throughout the week. We'll cover a few things. And on Friday, we'll go live around 11 o'clock in the morning. And we'll kind of recap over some of the things we talk about during the week. At the same time, give a little more in-depth talk about those things while you watching live can put in the comments or have a conversation with us about these things. So let's go over complaining. We tend to complain about a lot. Even when we don't think we're complaining, sometimes we complain a little too much. And we normally complain about things that we really don't have control over. And if you do got control over the things that you can complain about, you have the power to change it. Now, if there's something that you don't have a power of changing and you really can't fix it at the time, there's no point of complaining about it. I know that's easy to say right now, but let me be honest with you. When we complain about things, it's just piling more on the plate. You're just adding more sorrow, more pain, more frustration onto the plate. This is what keeps you unhappy. This is what keeps you depressed, all that weight pushing you down. And a lot of things that we are complaining about, we really do have control over. If you're complaining about not being happy in your relationship, leave the relationship. If you're complaining about, man, I can't stand this job I'm at right now, leave the job. But there's a give and a take to that. You leave the job, oh, man, now I got to find it. And there you go, complaining about something else. When you was complaining about the job you was at, you had the reason to fix it. You fixed it. Now you find something else to complain about. You see how that goes? Same with a relationship. You know if you're not happy in a relationship. You know that. Some of us just deal. And you deal because you don't want to get back out there to try to find something else. You've been waiting too long. Been there, been through it, been there, done that. You're not alone. Complaining. Complain, but never really fixing the problem. And some of us know that we can fix the problem. We just choose not to, right? And let's talk about being underappreciated. I'm sure you've been there. I'm sure you felt that way at some point in your life. And if you're watching this channel, you're watching the post and the conversations I'm having on here, you're probably of age and you've been through this a few times. I could give you many of stories where I feel unappreciated. Let me tell you something. Once you start going down that weary road of being unappreciated, trust me, you'll start to decay after a while, because the things that you feel like you're doing in your hearts of hearts to make people around you comfortable, you're really deteriorating yourself. You want to get these kudos and pats on the back, and you may feel like you're not receiving them. But here's a little caveat. Here's something that could help with that, right? Stop expecting to be appreciated by everybody. Everybody's not going to appreciate the things that you do for them or for others. They're not. So don't get in your feelings about that. I had to learn that early on in my years. Now I'm 40, y'all, but I've had to learn that early on in my years. The things that you do for others, do not expect them to do that same thing for you. You will drive yourself batshit crazy thinking that way. Period. Learn to appreciate yourself. You see, a lot of these things I'll be talking about in this segment, it's about us appreciating ourselves. It's about us not complaining about what we've got going on. It's about us not being jealous about what we've got going. We've got to take care of us. I teach about being selfish now, because when we are not selfish and we're constantly giving, we are draining our souls dry. Okay, so appreciate yourself and stop waiting for others to appreciate you. Now, worrying. Listen, I've survived 2 wars. I've survived losing a family. I've survived many things, just like you may have, right? When it comes to worrying too much, sometimes the things that we worrying about haven't even happened yet. We're worrying about things that have not even happened yet. And we're really killing ourselves, really unaliving ourselves, worrying about things that haven't even happened yet. And you're worrying, and if you are worrying about something that has happened, there's no point in worrying about it because it's already happened. You can't change what's already happened. The thing is to go back to figuring out a solution on how to move forward from what has happened. Worrying, worry. Man, it will kill you. Worrying about things you have no control over, worrying about what's going on in other people's lives instead of worrying about what's going on in yours will drain you dry. And loss is a big one. Sometimes we don't have no control over loss. Now we're talking loss in life, like a family member passing away, a battle buddy, soldier passing away, co-worker passing away, someone that's close to pass away. Of course you're going to be unhappy about that. Over time, you'll feel better. Over time, you'll get over it, right? Even in relationships, loss in relationships, loss in business partners, loss in friendships, you'll get over it. That's just something that comes with time. When it comes to loss, time can only heal. But it never gets rid of the loss, but it heals the loss. Time. That's all I'm trying to say about that. But this big one I was talking about, that jealousy, that envy, you know where that comes from? Watching what other people are doing and not watering your own grass. Not being super happy about what you've got going on in your life. You're too busy scrolling and watching what everybody else is doing. And wonder why you ain't got nothing going. You're too busy watching what everybody else is doing. Or you see what somebody else is doing and you're attempting to do that thing and it doesn't work out for you. And you're back to stage 1 of being depressed. Why? My life sucks and everybody else's life is great. You know, I tell people all the time, sometimes you got to admit when you're unhappy. This goes in business. This goes in relationships. This goes in everyday walk in life. You have to admit when you're unhappy. You do not admit when you're unhappy, you're going to blow up and unleash hell on some people that don't deserve it. There's nothing wrong with being unhappy. Everybody's not happy every day. You know? There's nothing wrong with it. Sometimes we just gotta face the music. We gotta face the music. Hey, you're not happy. Like right now, I could tell you guys, everything in your life could be going great, and you could still not be happy. Sometimes, like with me, I set goals, expectations, the way I see my world, the way I see my life. And when things are not balancing or not going that way, of course I'm gonna be unhappy. Of course I'm gonna be frustrated. Of course I'm gonna feel a little depressed. But at the same time, I have control over that. And what we have to learn, and what we will learn, and what you will learn by constantly watching this is there's ways of dealing with this. Now, for all five of them uh, points that I put up about complaining about everything, about being unappreciated, about worrying about too much, about loss in the family, business friends, soldiers, and big one, like I say every time, jealousy, envy, overcoming the jealousy, overcoming the envy. You know, a great an easy way to combat, not fix, not resolve, but to combat these five things is by loving yourself.
Attack this shit, attack this shit. It's wartime. Get angry, get mad, get all that energy out. It's your time to shine.